90-Day Fiancé. Twice Debbie Aguero was absolute absurd. Debbie Aguero from 90-Day Fiancé is one of the most hilarious characters in the series. Here are 8 instances where the refined Southern belle was actually a serious outlaw. One of the most hilarious stars of the 90-Day Fiancé franchise is Debbie Aguero, who is also frequently a total badass. The franchise, which includes the original 90-Day Fiancé as well as 90-Day Fiancé, Happily Ever After, 90-Day Diaries, and more programs, follows the marriages of Americans and the foreigners they fall in love with. The many 90-Day Fiancé shows frequently cross over, with cast members showing up in several spin-offs within the franchise. Despite the 43-year age difference, Debbie made her TV debut in Season 4 of 90-Day Fiancé. The other way, when she relocated to Morocco to live with 24-year-old Osama Berber. It should come as no surprise that the relationship failed. Osama desired to relocate to the U.S., and Debbie came to the realization that her son Julian B. Lynn, who disapproved, was correct all along. Debbie went back to Sugar Hill, Georgia, after accepting that Osama had only been exploiting her as a means of obtaining a green card. Debbie, who had become single once more, made an appearance on 90 Days, The Single Life. She dated Ruben, the Cuban Sanchez, during that time. Debbie portrays herself as a gracious, sophisticated Southern woman, but there are 8 instances in which she is anything but sophisticated. Debbie had a 20-year-old boyfriend. Debbie arrived to Morocco when Osama was 24 years old, but they had begun dating 4 years before, when Osama was just 20. Debbie and Osama, like many 90-Day franchise couples, met online. One day, Osama messaged Debbie unexpectedly to tell her how much she liked her artwork. After the two started communicating, Osama would send her poems and artwork. Debbie expressed that she felt like she had finally found someone who understood her, and they had similar interests. Following 6 months of online contact, she made the decision to meet Osama face-to-face. Debbie told Ruben his sense of style was excessive. Ironically, given Debbie's outrageous fashion choices, she made multiple jabs at Ruben's distinctive sense of style. Debbie, accompanied by her son Julian, traveled to Florida to see Ruben after they had connected online. Debbie claimed that although she and Ruben clicked right away, she thought his style was a little overkill. In fact, she said that Ruben was dressed in every color God created. The actress of 90-Day franchise has stated that she is more drawn to individuals that dress conservatively. These men are essentially Ruben, the Cuban's opposite, as he prefers to have a more creative style. But that wasn't the last time Debbie made fun of Ruben's fashion sense. Debbie sits down with Ruben to discuss their relationship during the 90-Day, The Single Life Season 4 reunion special. She commented that his reunion attire was a tad over the top for her preferences after witnessing it. She began dissecting his outfit. Despite not being a fan of his pink pants, she believed they would look better with a black shirt instead of the vibrant jacket and shirt he was wearing. But Debbie did adore Ruben's socks, which were emblazoned with Debbie's face. He disclosed that he too was donning underwear featuring Debbie's likeness. Debbie described Jamie as an adoptee. In the 4th season tell-all of 90-Day Fiancé, The Other Way, Jamie Nogueira and Chris Foster were tense with one another. Jamie was upset because Chris had once vanished, but Chris maintained that Jamie had cheated on her 3 times. Chris maintained that she had only been absent for 5 days in response to the accusation of disappearance, whereas Jamie asserted that she had been absent for a full month. Debbie sided with Chris during their argument in the ashes of their relationship, saying, "It's very easy for a predator to take advantage of Chris." Season 4 of 90-Day Fiancé, The Other Way tells Sean Robinson, the host of All, gave Debbie an opportunity to take back the statement. If Debbie was indeed referring to Jamie as a predator, she questioned. Debbie said boldly, yes. Debbie falsifies her age. Debbie acknowledged lying about her age when dating online during season 4 of 90 Day, The Single Life. She used dating apps and claimed to be 10 years younger than she actually was because she was finding it more difficult to find compatible partners online. She said it was hard for her to date the men she wanted to because of her actual age. She thought it was okay to tell a harmless white lie about her age. During the 4th season of 90 Day, The Single Life, Debbie went on a date with Russ after meeting him online. Even though she told Russ she was 57 years old instead of 67 at first, she told him the truth on their first date. Russ acknowledged that Debbie's lying concerned him, but he also saw it as a warning sign. To be honest, Russ seems more troubled by the idea that she had a Moroccan man 43 years younger than her. In their last significant relationship, Debbie wasn't asked out on another date by Russ. Debbie swinged. Franchise star Chantel Everett momentarily put on her sweatsuit during the 90 Day, The Single Life Season 4 tell-all reunion special in order to teach her fellow cast members how to twerk. At first, just Veronica Rodriguez stood up to join in the twerk shop. Nevertheless, as soon as Veronica took a seat, Miss Debbie couldn't help but shake her own stuff. The elderly woman learned from Chantel how to lift it up and drop it down like the greatest of them. "I can say I twerked with Chantel," exclaimed a jubilant Debbie after the class. Debbie gave a great performance of the act, but in the end she wasn't convinced, stating, "I'd just rather do the boogie, Detroit style." Debbie was angry with Sarper. Miss Debbie has never been one to hold back when it comes to her thoughts, and her appearance on 90 Day, The Single Life Season 4 was no different. She has owned several 90 Day franchises. During the tell-all reunion special, Debbie was very aggressive and continuously went after Sarper Govan, the star of TO's 4th season, who played 90 Day Fiancé. Miss Debbie stormed in to scold Sarper for being a womanizer when he was brought out to counsel 90 Day. The Single Life starred Tyree Mollett on how to lose his virginity. Later on in Season 4 of 90 Day, The Single Life, Sean posed the question, tell-all, to the cast, who else from the franchise would they want to date? Sean expressed surprise that none of the women had selected Sarper after everyone had finished answering. Debbie immediately shot back, saying, "You'd have to go on a date with Sarper dressed like a hazmat suit." "I feel that way." Debbie made her comment in reference to Sarper's reported 2,000 sexual encounters. Debbie lashed out at herself. Mike Youngquist from 90 Day Fiancé Season 7 was called out to talk about his divorce from Single Life cast member Natalie Mordautseva during the 90 Day, The Single Life Season 4 tell-all. He had 90 Day franchise star Debbie Johnson deliver Natalie's divorce papers during his visit. That act, not unexpectedly, appalled everyone sat on the stage. Miss Debbie confronted Mike right away regarding serving Natalie's divorce papers on TV. Then Debbie Johnson stood up for Mike and told Miss Debbie to stop bothering him. Debbie became enraged with Johnson and yelled, "And you're a Judas man." Given the reported closeness between Debbie Johnson and Natalie, the conduct was perceived as a betrayal. When her son Colt Johnson married Brazilian Larissa Santos on Season 6 of 90 Day Fiancé, Debbie Johnson made her television debut. Later, in Season 3 of 90 Day, The Single Life, Debbie had her own plot. Part 5 of the tell-all had already ended when the Battle of the Debbies got more intense. The Debbies flipped out on each other once again as the actors prepared to depart the studio permanently. Miss Debbie discussed the traumatic history with Johnson, letting him know that she now understood why Colt didn't want his mother around. Miss Debbie became enraged and furiously demanded that Johnson stop talking about her family. She said, "Then get my name out of your mouth, woman."